Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are joining us from. But thank you for joining us for another one of our Kneat webinars. We're happy to hear you or see you today and have you with us. My name is James Carey. I am the Digital Marketing Events Manager for Kneat Solutions. Really happy to have you here today. This is one of our special channels of webinars that we like to call Partner Showcases. We'll be hearing today from one of our partners, CSV Life Science Group, talking about transforming validation of automated systems. So we're happy to get into it. If you haven't joined us before for one of our webinars, even if you have, want to reintroduce some of our webinar tools that we'll be using today. So you are joined through listen-only mode. You are not on camera. You cannot talk back to us, but we definitely want to hear from you. We want to engage with you. So there is a few options to the right-hand side of your video that you should be able to access. The first one will be our chat. Let us know where you're calling in from. We love to see where our global audience is, hear what time it is, how the weather is by you. Go ahead and just use that chat. You can let us know where you're calling in from, what you think about today's presentation, put all of your comments in there, and we'll do our best to pay attention to that throughout the run. At least I'll be in there responding to people. Next up, we have our polls tab. There is a poll actively running, just a check-in poll that we like to do, like to have going for just to check in to see where you're at on your journey to digitizing validation. And we'll check in on that in just a minute or so. I'll give people a chance to respond now. And then our third tab is our Q&A. So throughout the presentation, even starting now, feel free to put your questions in there. At the end of the presentation, we will get to as many questions as possible. And even if we don't get to your question, as long as you have your name on it, we'll be able to follow up with you. We'll send you an email. We'll let you know the answer to your question as best we can, even if it's after the webinar. If you have any questions after the webinar is over, you can always email us at info@kneat.com. That's info@kneat.com. Or you can find us on social media. We're active on LinkedIn and X, formerly Twitter. You can follow us there, send us a message on social media as well. But there are plenty of contact options on our website that you can check out later. So this webinar is being recorded. You will receive a copy of the recording and a copy of the slides for your review following the webinar. Just give us a couple days to get that processed and sent out. But just by attending, just by registering, you'll get those resources. So don't worry about that. Brief stop here on our copyright and disclaimer statement for Kneat Solutions. And then we'll dive right into the agenda. So today, I'm very glad to be joined by two people key to our partner program here at Kneat. The first one we'll hear from is Paul Smith, our Global Partner Success Manager. We'll hear from him a little bit about Kneat as a company and Kneat Gx as a software solution. And then he'll pass off to Pablo Fernando Munoz Pierattini. Sorry, Pablo. He is the CSV and CSA manager from CSV Life Science Group, and I will let Paul and Pablo introduce themselves a little bit later. So we'll hear about Kneat, about CSV Life Sciences. We'll hear Pablo's featured presentation, and then, like I said, we'll get to your Q&A afterwards. So feel free to put your questions in that Q&A module as we keep going. So I mentioned our poll. I want to touch on this a little bit and see where we're at. So where are you on your journey to digitizing validation? We've got some responses in already. A good 57% have multiple projects delivered. So our options here, it starts with today with this webinar. This is the first time you're hearing about digitizing validation and your validation processes. Maybe you're in your initial discovery. You've got some prep work done, some discussions done, and you're getting ready to figure out how to launch. Maybe you're about to launch your first digital project, or you've got one already launched and you're seeing how it's going. Or you've got multiple projects being delivered digitally and you're considering how to scale up, how to keep moving forward and how to stay on top of it. So again, we've got about 62% of people having multiple projects delivered. On the other side of that coin, we've got 20% now in the initial discovery and prep phase, and another 20% starting today, brand new. And now about 10% about to launch their first product. So we really run the spectrum here with a lot of people managing multiple projects delivered digitally, and a few starting or just having started out recently. So that's really, really great to see. and these will help us know where you're at as we keep moving through the presentation. So I'm going to hide that from the scene. I'm going to keep it going. If you haven't put in your poll result yet or your poll answer yet, feel free to keep doing that as we go through the presentation. But I do want to move forward here and get into the meat of it. So first up, I'm happy to introduce Paul Smith. Like I said, he's our partner success manager here at Kneat. He's not a stranger to our Kneat webinars, and we're really happy to have him. We're going to hear from Paul a little bit about Kneat itself. Paul, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks very much, James. Thanks to everyone for joining. I'm really excited to be here with you today. I'm just going to spend a few moments now, as James said, going through a quick introduction to Kneat the company, what we do, what we get excited about before handing over to Pablo for the main event. So, as a global organization, we are headquartered in Ireland. We have operations across the US, Canada, and Europe that you can see there. We're a public listed company on the Toronto Stock Exchange. We currently have customers across 8 of the top 10 life science companies and 3 of the 4 COVID vaccine manufacturers. So we have over 40,000 users in our Kneat SaaS application, over 100 customers, and we've successfully deployed to over 350 locations across the world. We have a fantastic network of global certified partners, and Pablo from CSV Life Sciences is one of those that you're going to hear from in a few moments' time. In terms of the product itself, all the development is done in-house, and that's just to ensure that we have maximum quality and control of what we're producing. We have ISO certifications for 9001 and 27001 as well. So Kneat Gx is a SaaS validation lifecycle management platform. So it enables digitizing validation from end to end. So it really supports our clients, enables them to make validation easier, faster, and smarter. So it's one platform and any work process. So you can take one or all of your current paper-based processes, and we can support you along with our partners in digitizing them into the Kneat platform. It's purpose-built, 21 CFR Part 11, Annex 11 compliance. It's built into the system. You will be able to eliminate 100% of paper from your validation lifecycle. We have seen proven reduction in cycle times, skilled labor hours, and validation costs. We have another slide which will go into a little more detail on that. You will see a proven increase in right first time and speed to market. The application is easy to use, it's easy to train to, and importantly, it's easy to scale across your sites. With Kneat, you'll be audit ready anytime. It will automatically support your Alcoa ++ principles, enforcing data integrity. And of course, we've got paperless test execution built into the heart of that. So as I said, some of the results that we've seen from customers, so these are our current customers writing case studies, white papers, supporting those savings that they've seen across cycle times, man hours, and obviously cost reduction as well. And I think you can see, these reductions are, these are huge and great to be able to champion and report on and support our customers with these successes. So thanks for listening to me. I'm now going to hand over to the main event, Pablo from CSV Life Sciences, one of our strategic partners, who's going to talk to us on transforming validation of automated systems. Thanks very much, Pablo.
Thanks, Paul, for your presentation, and hi everyone. Thanks for your time and thanks for joining. Well, I'm Pablo Munoz Pierattini, computer system validation manager in CSV Life Science Group. Our company support in the different process from the engineering, from the conceptual to the validation and qualification of equipment, facilities, and computerized system. So today I would like to talk about the validation of the automated system, just to compare the difference between the paper-based approach to validate your system and the time and the cost related to use a digital system approach. Our approach now using Kneat is completely different because we have a lot save time and cost. So I would like to introduce very quickly Kneat, in accordance as Paul said before. Kneat is a SaaS validation platform, okay, and is designed in accordance to respect the regulatory, data integrity, and pharmaceutical standards. The idea is digitalize all the validation process, okay, ensuring the pharmaceutical standards. So actually, in CSV Life Science, we develop two process for the digital validation. The first one is the computer system validation and automation validation. And the second one is the commissioning and qualification. But you can set up in your system different process related with the validation process. That means, for example, the technology transfer, cleaning validation, process validation, and the laboratory equipment validation. Otherwise, you can set up your batch record, electronic batch record process using Kneat. The important thing and the choose on this system is related because for us it's very easy to use. It's very user friendly and is designed to guarantee the data integrity requirements. And another important thing is that we can customize the templates in accordance with our internal quality management system. So it's very important for us maintain the same approach in accordance with the QMS system, but using a very agile approach in this case to validate our systems. So we can drive this validation exercise in accordance with the GXP and GDP requirements. And the another important thing is that we have the audit ready all the time, so you can verify the status of your validation exercise, your validation process, and you have the information all the time. So you don't need to download the report. You can just need to an access into the system to verify your validation status of the documents. All right. So in general, we start from the paper-based approach, and that's mean we prepare the document using Word, for example. We print out the document when the document is approved from the customer, or too many times we need the handwriting approved. And after that, we need to perform the testing, printing the screenshot and compile all the paper to verify if the tests are okay or not. After that, normally we scan the protocol and we prepare the report. Okay, and just to archive all the things in our paper archive. But if we want to digitalize this process, in this case using Kneat, we have all the life cycle process of your computerized system in your Kneat system, in your Kneat instance. That means you can prepare your protocol using Kneat, review the protocol using Kneat, and execute the test of your approved protocol directly through Kneat. At the end, when you complete all the tests, all the validation exercise of your system, you have the traceability matrix automatically, and you can set up your report to fill the informations that you need to verify if your validation process is correct, is done, etc., etc., etc. So we choose Kneat because it's 21 CFR Part 11 compliant, and the segregation of duties can be set up in accordance with our requirements, with our internal requirements in terms of CSV Life Science requirement, and in accordance with the client requirements. So we have different levels of access into the system in accordance with the job description of the personnel involved in the validation exercise. This means we have the roles for review and approve, the roles for executors, the roles for our validation specialists to issue the document. Okay. And well, the important thing is that we need to know what is the status of the validation activities normally. And Kneat has the report, the standard reporting, and the dashboard. And this is a very important feature for us because we have the information of the validation status in real time. So we don't need to fill the Excel files or a project file, because all the information about the status of the validation activities are into Kneat. All right, so I would like to share with you our estimate effort in terms of save cost and time without using Kneat and with Kneat. The important thing for us is maintain the same process, the same V cycle, but using a different time, a different effort, obviously, to validate our system. So the first example is a typical V cycle to validate a distributed control system used normally in the API side. Okay, so we start obviously with the validation plan. We define the test plan procedure, the risk assessment approach, etc., etc., etc. And the second step is define the user requirements, receive the functional, the hardware and software specification from the vendor, issue the risk assessment and the traceability matrix. And after that, we can verify the different configurations and functionalities of our system. In terms of we need to write a protocol, review this protocol, and execute the protocol. So in our case, for the PCS7, we use the cutover approach. So we perform the installation and operational qualification in testing environment, and the installation and performance qualification in our production environment before to release the system. So I would like in the following slides to show how you can reduce the time using Kneat. So, if we start with the first step, validation plan. So normally, without Kneat, we need at least 1 month to approve the document and 10 days to issue and review, more or less. But for us, in our experience, the first step is the most critical because we need to define the strategy for the validation, in this case, of your distributed control system. So it's very important understand if the validation approach is defined correctly. So normally without Kneat, we need at least 1 month. Using Kneat, the same document package need at least 5 days to approve the document. Okay, because when you have a Word document, you need to send the document to your customer, your client. The client needs to review the document, in this case, the validation plan, define if the strategy proposed by, in this case, CSV Life Science is correct or not, and you have a feedback after maybe 1 week. Okay, using Kneat, the feedback is immediately, it's in real time, because the client receive a notification that the document is or the draft, in this case, is ready to review. The client review the document and send you immediately the comments, okay, in the document. So we have 5 days to approve the document normally, and 8 days to issue and review. So we can prepare the documents, share the document with the client, review with the client, and 5 days to approve the document. That's mean the proof from the system matter expert to the qualified person. More or less 5 days we estimate. And we don't need in the validation plan, for example, the test plan procedure that described or normally describe the validation approach during your validation exercise, because we have the SOP, the Kneat SOP that describe this approach. So normally we don't include anymore this test plan procedure in our validation plan. We refer our internal Kneat SOP, save it obviously in our Kneat instance. So about the specification, obviously the specification are issued by the vendor. So in this case, the vendor can decide if you need to issue their specification or not. But if we have a vendor with a Kneat access, okay, the vendor can build the document into Kneat, send the document to the client to review, or send to CSV Life Science for the review process. So in this case, without Kneat, we need at least 15 days to issue and review the user requirements specification. 10 days per each specification in terms of hardware design specification, software design specification, and functional design specification. And 15 days to issue and review the risk analysis and traceability matrix. Using Kneat, the traceability matrix is automatically. So we don't need the traceability matrix effort to issue and review the risk assessment traceability matrix document. In 7 days, we can issue and review the risk assessment, and 5 days per each specification document. Okay, so we reduce, in this case, in a 50% the time that you need to review and issue your document specification. 7 days to issue and review the user requirement. So about the protocols. Uh, well, about the protocols, during the first phase, because when you validate the DCS system in the test environment, you need to ensure that all the data integrity requirements um, must be covered. So normally we perform at least these 12 testing tests, and without need, we need at least 10 days to issue, review, and approve this installation and operational qualification protocol. 15 days to execute and compile the test cases, and 4 days to review and approve the executed protocols. And that's mean normally we fill the document, we compile all the test case, print out the evidences, the screenshots, and we share the results, the printed results with the client to review and approve all the different testings phases. Using Kneat, so the same exercise, but without the paper-based compilation, we have just 8 days, 8 days to execute and compile the test cases. So if we compare the 15 days and 80 days, we have the save time, a lot save time, and 5 days to issue, review, and approve the installation and operational qualification protocol. For the review and approve, we just need 2 days because you have all the screenshots, all the documents into Kneat, so you don't need to search in the paper-based protocol your screenshots and the comments and notes and deviation, etc., 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 because you have all the information in a unique system. So in general, if we use um, hybrid approach in terms of, for example, user requirements and specification and risk analysis is out of Kneat because maybe it's performed by vendor, by client directly. The time that you need is more or less this one. But if you use Kneat at least in your execution phase, in your installation, operational qualification, document preparation, you perform the testing using Kneat, you have this time that you save. And you save, obviously, the cost of the project because we need reduced time to perform the testing and to review the testing. All right, so this is the example of the SCADA system. Before I describe the estimated days for the DCS system, the SCADA system is very similar. So I include here the typical VUS cycle validation exercise for the SCADA system. And I would like to describe that in this case, we don't have a testing and production environment. So we have just one environment to perform the test. Is a very simple SCADA because it's a compounding SCADA, so a very standard solution. And the time and cost saving for this SCADA validation is described in this table. So just to summarize all the exercise, we normally use before the deployment to the user requirement approval cycle 1 month, as described before. for the distributed control system. Okay, more or less 30 days, 1 month. And after deployment, 7 days. So we have a very big time saving in this case, approximately 80%. Otherwise, for the installation qualification and for the operational qualification, in terms of execution and compilation, we save most time during the compilation, obviously. So before the deployment, we use 5 days to perform the installation qualification testing and 10 days to perform the operational qualification testing. So after the deployment, the time is reduced more or less in the 50%. So 2 days to perform the installation qualification activities and 5 days for the operational qualification. So we have a very important time saving that we can use, for example, in the risk assessment process, in the validation strategy, or in the deviation management as well. So the idea is move the focus during the validation exercise in the risk assessment, in the deviation management, and introduce the agile approach. That means the computer software assurance. So using Kneat, we can develop this computer software assurance, this risk assessment focus approach, because we don't have the time for the compiling, for the scanning, for the review, and we can focus just in the risk assessment and to understand the typical risk during your validation exercise, and we can define, for example, the critical elements in your validation approach. All right, so I complete my presentation just for the first step. If you have any question or insight, go ahead. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Pablo. We're really great to have those insights. Very good presentation, and thank you for running through it. As Pablo said, we will be taking audience questions for Pablo, for Paul, for me, about anything that was covered today. So we already have a couple in. I'll take the oldest ones first, but go ahead, and if you look in the Q&A box, even if you don't have a question, you can upvote ones that you do want to hear, and we'll be taking some of the most popular ones first. First one here from John. Could you elaborate on the basis of the savings, the benchmarking study? I believe that one is for Pablo, but Paul, that might be back from our Kneat ones. Pablo, why don't you take it first?
Well, yeah. In general, we use we elaborate the time and cost saving in accordance with obviously our experience in the project, and in the new project that we can use Kneat. Okay, so we estimate the time and the cost in accordance with our experience, and our new projects involved using the digitalization approach. Paul?
Yeah, I think that's the same as what we'd have done with our clients. So we have multiple case studies where clients have taken their paper-based process and digitized. So with those studies, they take a known process that they've done on paper, and then obviously try and replicate that same type of process validation activity, and realize the savings using Kneat. And obviously we can provide those case studies to anyone that's interested and perhaps looking to build a business case for Kneat.
Okay, excellent. Excellent. Thank you for those answers, and thank you, John, for the question. Here's one from Kayla. We have another one from Kayla a little bit later on. Kayla asks, our business is new to validating CSADA. Do you have any insights / best practices for standardizing these validations?
Yeah, absolutely. The first best practice is include all the data integrity requirements, but the focus during the SCADA validation is the risk assessment, because it's important define the critical elements of your process in the risk assessment, and focusing in accordance with these critical elements, your validation effort. So you don't need to validate everything, but validate in accordance with your critical elements and in accordance with your risk assessment. So the effort is related in accordance with the data integrity topics requirements and the critical elements of your process to validate your system.
Okay, excellent. Thank you for that question, Kayla. Here's another one from Kayla. Is the risk assessment function available in version 9.1 of Kneat?
Paul?
Yeah, so I suppose the risk assessment will be coming from your own internal assessment, but what Kneat will do is provide you with features and functionality that can support you in how you do that. And I see, Kayla, you're referencing version 9.1. So I'm assuming you are a Kneat customer or a partner. So I would say contact your customer success manager or your partner success manager for more information on specifics. And we can obviously set up a demo and some use case material to support you working through that.
Yeah, and that's a great point that I will mention here. That our demos are always available. If you want to have one, you can't publicly watch a video just on our website, but we do hold monthly demo webinars. Our next one is coming up here soon. I'll talk about that in a bit. We just had the one for October, so the one for November will be in a few weeks. They're usually towards the end of the month. But regardless, you can always go on Kneat.com and request a one-on-one demo to get more interactive, in-depth, a look at our features. So that's where a customer success representative will walk you through, or a sales solutions engineer really will walk you through Kneat and be able to answer your questions one-on-one, show you things that are very important to you or your organization. So if you're not already a Kneat customer or a Kneat partner, that is a great way to see what features are available. And I know we will be rolling out 9.3 here pretty soon. I don't have the exact calendar of that in front of me, but I know we're always introducing new features. Right now, that is all the questions that we have. I'll give a couple more minutes
Okay.
for additional questions to come in. Pablo, any final parting words for everybody?
Just to say the last thing, because the future of the computer system validation is the computer software assurance. The idea is focusing on the risk assessment and study the critical elements of your process. So using the digital validation, you can focus it on the critical elements study to understand better your process and follow the guidance for the FDA guidance about the computer software assurance to understand better that you need a critical elements focus. This is the future of the computer system validation, and I think that you can go ahead using the CSA approach.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Paulo. Paul, any last words you want to say about the partner program or what we've talked about today?
I think probably just to get in before you do, James, is just really to say thanks to Pablo for his presentation. It's really great to be able to use our partners' SME knowledge to speak to our customers and obviously continue to support them as we grow Kneat.
Excellent. Yeah, that is a great point, Paul. Thank you so much, Pablo, for joining us.
Thank you.
And thank you, Paul, for telling us about Kneat and Kneat GX. Really appreciate both of your insights today and answering the questions. And I want to thank you, everyone who's joined us so far. I want to talk about some of the upcoming events and where you can see Kneat, where else you can see Kneat, really. You can always check our website, kneat.com/news and events, for more information on both our virtual events and our webinars program, but also where we're going to be at in conferences around the world. Here's a brief snapshot. Speaking of our important partner program and how much we love hearing from our partner SMEs, on November 13th, we have another webinar looking at CSV and CSA, the validation fast lane presented by MMR Consulting. So they're going to be joining us and a Kneat representative to talk about validation as well with CSV and CSA. So another opportunity to hear from one of our great partners. That one's a little bit later in the day. And then, as I was talking about, our monthly Kneat Gx software demo, that one is November 20th of this month. Again, those go every month towards the end of the month. So feel free to always be able to check one of those out or request one of those one-on-one demos on our website. In person, you can see us both in Europe and in North America, in the US, at Kneat University events. So the Kneat Validation and GMP University Europe, happening November 19th in Dublin, Ireland. Kneat is sponsoring, and Kneat will be there. A couple of representatives from Kneat will be able to talk through Kneat as a product, Kneat Gx as a software solution, and see if it's right for you hands-on there at that conference. Same thing with Kneat's CSV and SA University in Washington, D.C., where I happen to be from, on December 10th. So come out, say hi to us, see Kneat Gx if you happen to be at those universities. Otherwise, remember to follow us on LinkedIn and Twitter to stay up to date on the latest happenings of where you can see Kneat in events and webinars and conferences, and when those new features come out for new editions, like 9.3 is coming out soon. So we really appreciate you being here for our Kneat webinar, and we hope to see you again on the next one or one of them soon. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.